I should have seen the warning signs. 20 years flying commercial jets had taught me to recognize when something wasn't right. The subtle vibration before turbulence, the slight change in engine pitch. But when it came to my own life, I was flying blind. My name is Marcus Pearson, 747 captain with Trans-Global Airlines. I met Vanessa 8 years ago during a layover in Miami. She was stunning, platinum blonde hair, green eyes that seemed to change color in different light, and a laugh that made everyone in the room turn to find its source. She was working as a flight attendant for a competing airline, and we hit it off immediately. "You pilots are all the same," she teased on our first date. "Think you're God's gift to aviation." "Not all of us," I'd replied. "Some of us know we're just glorified bus drivers with better views." She laughed at that, and 2 years later, we were married on a beach in Maui during one of my scheduled layovers. It was perfect, or so I thought. The cracks started showing about a year ago. More arguments. Her sudden interest in privacy, password-protected phone, vague explanations for where she'd been. I chalked it up to the natural evolution of marriage and my irregular schedule. 4 days on, 3 days off, constantly crossing time zones. It wasn't ideal for building a stable relationship. Then came the Stockholm trip. I was filling in for another pilot, an unexpected 4-day international. When I called to tell Vanessa, she seemed distracted, almost annoyed. "I thought you were home this weekend," she'd said. "So did I, but Peterson's wife went into labor early. I'm the only qualified captain available. I'll make it up to you when I get back." The silence on the other end lasted a beat too long. "It's fine. Fly safe." I should have known something was wrong when she didn't say, "I love you," before hanging up. The flight was routine, Stockholm's Arlanda airport in winter, beautiful approach over snow-covered landscapes. I even managed to buy Vanessa a nice necklace at the duty-free shop. I returned home a day earlier than expected, hoping to surprise her. The surprise was mine. Our driveway held an unfamiliar BMW. Inside our house, I heard Vanessa's laughter, that same infectious laugh that had drawn me to her years ago. Following the sound to our bedroom, I found her with him. Eric Daniels. Her ex-boyfriend from before we met. The airline executive she'd always described as complicated and part of my past. They didn't notice me at first. I stood in the doorway, pilot's bag still in hand, watching as my life disintegrated before my eyes. "Marcus." Vanessa finally noticed me, clutching the sheets to her chest. Eric, to his credit, looked embarrassed. "You're supposed to be in Stockholm." "Clearly," I replied, my voice surprisingly steady. 20 years of crisis management training kicking in. "I'll be downstairs when you're decent." I walked downstairs in a daze, set my bag down in the kitchen, and made myself a whiskey. Breaking my personal no alcohol within 24 hours of flight rule seemed inconsequential now. 20 minutes later, they both emerged. Eric mumbled something about calling you later to Vanessa and slipped out the front door without making eye contact. "How long?" I asked once we were alone. "It's complicated," Vanessa replied, which told me everything I needed to know. "How?" My voice had the edge I normally reserved for reprimanding rookie co-pilots. 6 months, she admitted. "But it's not what you think." It was exactly what I thought. But I had no idea how much worse it was about to get. As I nursed my whiskey, Vanessa launched into a tangled explanation. How she and Eric had reconnected at an airline industry event 6 months ago, how one drink led to another, how it was just physical at first but then feelings resurfaced. I listened without interruption, my pilot's discipline keeping me outwardly calm while my mind calculated the damage. "I was going to tell you," she insisted, pacing our kitchen. "I just didn't know how." "Were you?" I asked, my voice hollow. "When exactly? Before or after Stockholm?" She looked away, confirmation enough. This wasn't a momentary lapse. This was premeditated deception. For 6 months, I'd been flying across continents, navigating through storms, keeping hundreds of passengers safe, all while my marriage was disintegrating on the ground. "I think you should leave," I said finally. "Take what you need for tonight. We'll figure out the rest later." She nodded, almost relieved that I wasn't causing a scene. Vanessa disappeared upstairs, returning 30 minutes later with a suitcase. No tears, no desperate pleas for forgiveness. Just a woman executing an evacuation plan she'd clearly prepared in advance. "I'll call you tomorrow," she said at the door. I didn't respond. After she left, the house felt cavernous. I checked my phone, 3 missed calls from my first officer about our next flight schedule. Work had always been my sanctuary, but now even that seemed distant and unimportant. Sleep didn't come. At 3 a.m., I decided to check our financial accounts. Something about Vanessa's too-composed departure bothered me. I opened my laptop and logged into our joint accounts. The screen showed a balance of $212.47. I blinked, refreshed the page. Same number. This had to be a mistake. There should have been close to $380,000. Our savings from 15 years of international flying, careful investments, and the inheritance from my father. With growing panic, I checked our other accounts. Empty. Investment portfolio? Liquidated. My separate retirement account? Drained to the legal maximum withdrawal with penalties paid. The realization hit like clear air turbulence, violent, unexpected, and impossible to prepare for. Vanessa hadn't just been planning to leave me, she'd been systematically looting our finances. My phone rang, an unknown number. I answered, still staring at the devastation on my screen. Marcus? It's Eric. My hand tightened around the phone. You've got some nerve. Listen to me, he cut in, his voice urgent. She's played us both. We weren't, it wasn't an affair. I saw you in my bed. Yes, today. For the first time. She told me you two were separated, getting divorced. Said you were living in the Stockholm apartment most of the time. We didn't have a Stockholm apartment. She's been working me for months, Eric continued. I'm VP of Finance at Transamerican now. She got me to reveal security protocols for wire transfers, account verifications. I thought I was just impressing an old flame, but she was gathering information. Marcus, she's taken money from me too. Almost $200,000. The room seemed to tilt beneath me. Why are you telling me this? Because I just got a call from my friend at the airport authority. She cleared private aviation customs 30 minutes ago. International flight plan filed to Grand Cayman. Tax haven. No extradition. Of course. Whose plane? I asked, already suspecting the answer. Yours. That Cessna Citation you co-own with 3 other pilots? She had the access codes, documentation, everything. Marcus, she's gone. And I think we're both ruined. I ended the call and stared at the empty financial statements on my screen. 20 years of career building, destroyed in one night. But there was one thing Vanessa didn't know. Something about that Citation jet that might be my only hope for salvation. I grabbed my keys and bolted for the door. The Cessna Citation was a luxury my pilot friends and I had splurged on 3 years ago. A small private jet we timeshared for personal trips. But what Vanessa didn't know was that I'd installed a custom avionics package last spring, including a remote monitoring system that would let me track the jet's position from my phone. As I sped toward the airport, I called Ryan McAllister, my co-owner and former Air Force pilot. Ryan, emergency. Vanessa's stolen the Citation and my life savings. She's headed to Grand Cayman. What the, are you serious? Deadly. I need your help. Call Thompson at ATC and have him delay clearance for our tail number. Any excuse. On it, Ryan said without hesitation. What's your plan? I don't know yet, I admitted. But she's not getting away with this. At the airport, I bypassed the main terminal and headed straight for the private aviation center. My trans-global ID still carried weight, enough to get me onto the tarmac without questions. Through the window, I spotted our Citation taxiing toward the runway. My phone pinged with a text from Ryan. Thompson bought you 15 minutes. Mechanical inspection. 15 minutes. Not much time. I sprinted across the tarmac to the maintenance hangar where my friend Diego worked. I need the fastest thing you've got, I told him, breathless. Diego stared at me for a moment, then tossed me a set of keys. Helicopter on pad 3. Return it with a full tank or my boss will have my head. The Bell 407 helicopter wasn't as fast as the Citation, but it had one advantage. It could take off immediately and follow a direct route. By the time Vanessa cleared the inspection and got airborne, I was already hovering nearby, tracking her flight path. My plan crystallized in those tense moments. I wasn't going to stop her from reaching Grand Cayman. I couldn't. But I could make sure she didn't disappear with my money once she landed. I called an old friend at Interpol while maintaining visual contact with the Citation several miles ahead. Marcus, it's 5 a.m. This better be important, growled the voice of James Werner, my college roommate who now coordinated financial crimes investigations. My wife has stolen approximately $580,000 combined from me and a Transamerican Airlines executive. She's currently flying to Grand Cayman in a private jet registered in my name, without authorization. I need someone waiting when she lands. You have proof? Bank statements showing the transfers, security footage from our shared hangar showing her unauthorized entry, and flight records showing she filed the plan using my credentials. Werner was silent for a moment. I can make a call to our Caribbean office, but Cayman authorities won't freeze accounts without proper documentation. I don't need them to freeze accounts. I just need them to delay her long enough for me to land and confront her with the evidence. Once she's identified, you'll have cause to investigate. It was a gamble, but Werner agreed. As dawn broke, I watched the citation begin its descent toward Grand Cayman. I followed at a distance, landing at a separate part of the airport 20 minutes later. By the time I reached the main terminal, local police were already escorting Vanessa to an interview room. She looked shocked when she saw me, her perfect plan unraveling. "How did you?" she began. "You forgot you married a pilot," I said quietly. "Someone who understands that every flight leaves a trail." 3 days and countless legal documents later, we'd managed to recover most of our funds. Vanessa faced charges in 2 countries. Eric, who had indeed been manipulated almost as thoroughly as I had, agreed to drop charges in exchange for his money back. As I flew the citation home alone, I thought about the journey ahead. My marriage was over, my trust shattered, but my career remained. In the cockpit, at least, I was still in control. Some emergencies I realized you can't prepare for. You can only respond, adapt, and find a way to land safely again. It would be a long recovery, but I had clear skies ahead.